What's up, guys? So in today's video we're going to be looking at the correlation between the US dollar index or the strength of the US dollar in relation to Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies. Okay, so we're going to be doing that using the technical analysis, looking at charts and going back in history to see the relationship between the US dollar index and cryptocurrencies. What tends to happen when the US dollar is moving to the upward direction, and what tends to happen to cryptocurrencies in such situations. So we're going to be looking into all of that in the chart today. Okay, so hopping with me, let's dive deep into the chart. Okay, so before that, we're going to be looking at the definition of the US dollar index actually is. For all we know, US dollar index is just a measure of the strength of the US dollar in correlation to other countries' currencies. So here in the definition via Wikipedia, what we see is the US dollar index, USDX, you can call it USDX, DXY, or the DX, or formerly known as the DXY. Okay, is an index or measure of the value of the United States dollar to a basket of foreign currencies. So once you see that the US dollar is actually moving to the upward direction, it basically means that US dollar is gaining strength compared to other currencies in the world. Okay, so as you can see here in the chart, I actually outlined two separate events. That is from January 2017 to April 2018. That was when we had a massive bull run in the crypto market. Okay, we have a March 2020 down till I think May 2021. We actually had a massive bull run. Okay, so if we could look at the US dollar index, we're going to see the reverse. We're going to see that in the US dollar index, January 2018 down till March 2018 was when we went low. As you can see, around March, April 2020 down till June or thereabout 2021, we had this long downtrend of the US dollar index. So what we are trying to say in respect is that whenever we see the US dollar index having this downward trend, that means basically there's a high chance or high potential that Bitcoin or other cryptocurrency will push to the upward direction. Okay, so as you can see here as well, same thing. We topped out here at around March 2020, and then from there we've been having this downward trend so far. The US dollar index actually topped out somewhere around June 2021, and that was the same time we actually had those massive bull run to the upside in cryptocurrencies. So what this basically means is that once we see the US dollar index moving to the upward direction, that means there's a high chance, high chance that cryptocurrencies will be moving the other direction, that is to the downward side. What it has to do with today's scenario is that if you look at the DXY, you can see that the DXY is beginning to push to the downside. We might get to this point here on the 50 weekly moving average. Just like I explained in the last video what the 200 weekly moving average and the 50-week moving average is. What I actually explained was that the 50-week moving average and the 200 weekly moving average is used to tell historical past bottoms. What can go below the 50 weekly moving average, we can, and then it starts pushing to the downside, then there's a high chance, there's a high probability that we might start seeing a new bull run in cryptocurrency market. I'll be taking a really close look at this. As you can see, it's on the weekly chart. So each candle here represents a week. As you can see, one candle here, 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. As you can see, technical analysis is very important to understand the market. As you can see, I still expect us in the Bitcoin chart to probably have our final capitulation or last drop at around 12 to 14k, just like I explained in my last video. So hopefully by then, the US dollar should have actually given us a next trend to follow. Okay, so I'll be looking for that play. So I just thought I'd let you know the comparison or the correlation between the US dollar index, so that from there we can actually predict the next possible outcome. So as you can see, the US dollar and Bitcoin in particular actually have this correlation or comparison between the both of them. So we'll be hoping to see a close below the 50 weekly moving average before we can start flipping our bias to the downside for the US dollar index, and then flipping our bias to the upside for cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin in particular. Okay, And if you actually found this video helpful, actually subscribe to the channel, like this video, turn on your post notifications, share it with your friends, okay, who also benefit from it, okay? And I'll see you in the next one.